I didn't want to come. Drive South Coast. And you know, cars are...
Program for a very exciting competition. Telethon too. Is that 20? Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? Presented by a supermarket in Come on. On the night though.
If you're like most, doing what you're doing tomorrow. Hello and welcome at the end of another week to 6 o'clock Live. And as always, we hope to get your weekend off to a perfect start. Mind you, if you're like most families, whatever you're doing tomorrow or Sunday, you'll be watching the pennies. Because these days, with high mortgage rates, rising inflation and of course the poll tax, millions are having to tighten their belts. And no one's feeling the pinch more than shopkeepers, you know. This week, another 208 of them went out of business in the area in the southeast. And with customers spending less money, they just can't make ends meet. Like Renato Gaspardi, he's decided to shut up his lighting shop in Finchley just as soon as he can find a buyer.
What I got to do? I don't like it, but I got to sell. No point to go on like this.
More on that story later, when we'll also be asking, how much is this painting worth, do you think, on the wall in our studio? What do you reckon, £700? 7 pence? Well, this was the verdict of one art critic.
Nice colours, very abstract, and if you want to put a value on it, I suppose about £400 or £500.
In truth, it was painted in just an hour by a group of primary school children. Find out how we fooled some more top art experts a little later on. Meanwhile, Jeni has been investigating a new craze this week. You could call it a kind of liquid acid, may I say?
You may say whatever you like, my darling.
Let me call it a liquid acid.
You
then.
do. You have to make him happy. And good evening to you all. Yes, as you know, I'm always in the swim of things, so I've been diving in to discover all about the latest trend in the pet world. You could say the wet pet world. I tell you, millions of us are hooked on it. What are these lovable creatures? Don't be coy. Join me for a dip and all will be revealed. I hope it's worth waiting for. Frank.
Meanwhile, Danny's in Sutton tonight doing the weekend shopping. Danny?
But my wife's pleased, not only I'm at work, I can get the bits in as well. Now, let me tell you what's happening. Supermarket in Magazine have their competition finals next week to find the most speedy, experienced and cheery checkout person in the entire country. We've got our own finals going on here tonight, so if you want to find out what a supermarket checkout would be like in an ideal world, join us later on. It's sponsored by Telethon 2.
Well, we'll be seeing Danny again later, when we will also be joined live in the studio by everyone's favourite pop star from down under, Kylie Minogue. And we've got a must for all you Kids on the Block fans too. But now with the latest news from around the southeast, here's Anna Maria. Very good evening to you.
Good evening. The heartache behind the Marchioness disaster goes on. Relatives and survivors are gathering in London this weekend, expecting to hear exactly what happened when the cruiser collided with a dredger on the River Thames. But tonight they fear that there could be another long delay before evidence is released. David Harvey reports.
The inquest starts this Monday on the 51 people who died when the riverboat Disco was hit by the Bough last August. But it's likely that the coroner will postpone the second and most important part. That deals with the cause of the disaster. He doesn't want to prejudice any criminal proceedings that the Director of Public Prosecutions may want to take. The survivors feel the DPP's delay in reaching a decision is heartless.
I think it is unbelievably cruel of him to leave parents in the belief that they'll hear how and why their children died.
Relatives have flown from as far as Canada and Australia on their own money to learn why their children died. One of those who didn't survive was 26-year-old Sean Lockwood-Croft. His mother is devastated by the possible delays of the inquest.
Having gone through Easter, which was a devastating and lonely time for us, we would have got ourselves emotionally prepared for a full inquest. And now at this rather late date, it's hit us emotionally and make us very low.
I already know how Francesca died. She drowned. I know she swam away from the boat. I want to know why she died.
It was on this stretch of the Thames, just past Southwark Bridge, where 51 young people died. Tonight, 100 bereaved families and survivors are meeting to make plans on how to force a full inquest. 7 have already instructed their solicitors to take it to the High Court if necessary. David Harvey, LWT News, on the River Thames.
Since last year, young children involved in sex cases can give court evidence using video cameras and dolls. But today, a London mother says it simply wasn't worth putting her 6-year-old daughter through the extra ordeal because the sentence on her attacker was so light. Mark Jordan reports.
With the mother out of the house, a man terrorised a 6-year-old girl in her playroom. Twice he forced her into acts of serious sexual abuse. Gerald Price was found guilty and sentenced to just 15 months prison, a long way from the 14 years maximum. Tonight, child and mother can't be identified, but the mother speaks out against a sentence of months for a crime that will haunt for a lifetime.
Why did he pick on her? Why not someone else? I'm sorry.
How did you feel when you heard it was just 15 months that he'd got?
Shocked. Absolutely shocked.
Judge Graham Jones told us he had no comment to make on his sentence. What's disturbing here is that when mother and child walked from this court, they felt the pain and horror of reliving those events before a judge and jury just hadn't been worth it.
If I knew then what I knew now about him getting 15 months, I wouldn't have bothered going to the police in the first place.
With Price standing in the dock, it's a brave 6-year-old that tells a court her story.
His defence was saying, I think you're telling lies, and she broke down in court and said she wasn't telling lies, and his defence said to her, as your mummy told you to say anything to this court, and she said, Mummy's told me to tell the truth, not to tell any lies.
We have to accept the court's decision. We have no alternative.
And are you always happy with that?
We have to accept it.
Doctors say the 6-year-old will be under a psychiatrist for several years. Mark Jordan, LWT News.
Other news now. Parents in East London are preparing a legal challenge to have their handicapped youngsters' school rebuilt. Fiona Oates reports.
The children's special school was destroyed by fire 2 months ago. Now Newham education authorities say they don't plan to rebuild it. Today the school is boarded up, leaving 72 pupils with nowhere to go. Most days they're stuck at home, missing their friends and losing out on their education.
They can't understand where their friends are gone. Some even think that their friends have actually burnt in the fire as well because they're not seeing them. A lot of the children are crying, they're distressed, getting up every day, can't go to school, they've got no routine. And obviously they're also missing out on a lot of sort of specialised teaching that they need every day.
Some parents have been forced to give up their jobs to care for their children, and some are suffering real financial hardship. Newham Council says that rebuilding the school can't be a serious option because of the cost. They say they're doing the best for the youngsters by re-equipping an existing school. But the parents say they're determined to win a new school and are now considering legal action. Fiona Oates, LWT News, East Ham.
Some tense moments tonight as firemen fought a blaze in southeast London. The fire broke out in this derelict warehouse in Albany Road. At one point, firemen were brought out of the building because they feared gas cylinders might explode. No one was injured and the cause is being investigated. Spot checks on private hire taxis in Reading found that almost half the cars were unsafe and some drivers had no insurance for passengers. So far, 19 of the town's 220 private operators have had their licences withdrawn. London rugby star Sean O'Leary, who was injured in a car crash last week, has been named in England's international squad to tour Argentina this summer. The 26-year-old Wasps player has been transferred from a Liverpool hospital to St Mary's in London. His condition is improving. It's marathon weekend in London and today last-minute preparations were well underway. But if you're running, beware. Simon Walton explains.
A record field of more than 32,000 runners will pound London's pavements on Sunday morning, most probably thinking they're doing themselves some good. But those who do make it to the finish line here at Westminster Bridge are being warned by a top doctor that marathons could seriously damage their health. In the long run, it could be far better if they took the bus.
Of course, there's the major problem of stress on the heart, but there are the lesser problems, but far more frequently encountered problems on the muscles, the ligaments and the bones.
The biggest dangers are stress fractures, when bones in legs and feet simply snap.
The bone isn't used to being pulled apart at the speed at which it's being pulled upon in running, and what then happens is that it cracks.
And here's one man who knows the pain of marathons only too well.
I had the pleasure of being wheeled off on a stretcher. It was very painful. I felt nauseous, I felt sick, I felt disorientated for a lot of the time, and particularly around here on the 24-mile mark. I can't even remember going through it.
But despite the horrors, runners on their final jog before Sunday's race aren't bothered.
Well, if you've properly trained for them, they know there's no real reason why you should get injured or anything.
I think that's only made up by people who don't jog, just make themselves feel better.
And you'd have thought Ken Hume would have learned his lesson by now, but he'll be out again on Sunday, trying to make it to the finish without falling down. Simon Walton, LWT News, Westminster.
In football, West Ham have played good neighbours to Crystal Palace. They've offered them 100 extra cup final tickets, part of their own allocation for Wembley. Meanwhile, Palace supporters have launched a petition protesting at the allocation. The club has been given only 14,000 tickets, whereas opponents Manchester United will have 26,000.
Now, I've been on the terraces in all weather, week in, week out, like 48 years, and they told me I ain't got a chance getting a ticket. So I thought, well, it's about time somebody did something about it.
I don't think it's fair that they should get more tickets, and we're closer to Wembley as well.
I mean, if West Ham can do their bit to hand up tickets, then hopefully there's a lot of other London clubs out there that can do the same.
Finally, the latest Japanese therapy for overstressed executives has reached London. David Harvey reports from the city.
It's the city's amateur talent night. There are no prizes, just the chance to swap stocks and shares for a taste of show business. The words come from the karaoke singing machine, a craze from Japan, and it provides an escape value for junior city stress.
The very first night we started here, there was maybe
50, 60 people in. The next night we came back, the place was absolutely stuffed. They can all have a few and they get a little bit over the top and they can just go crazy.
The machine has 560 backing tracks. The crowd, whose salaries match their age in thousands, provides the rest.
The karaoke music machine has taken this city wine bar by storm. But there's one important factor to make even the shyest get up on the stage behind me, and that's lager by the litre.
Drinking is a big part of the evening. I mean, I'd be a liar if I said anything different.
You're with your friends and you just want to like show off, don't you?
Don't you worry about making a fool of yourself?
Well, you do, but you don't like to admit it, do you?
David Harvey, LWT News in the city.
Can't be stress-free. Frank.
Thank you very much indeed. We'll have the weather a little later on. I think we're going to get the worst of the weather for a change in this corner of the world. Anyway, we'll be back later on for that. Now, when was the last time you went into a shop to buy some new furniture or a hi-fi or even a new outfit? The chances are that, money the way it is, it was quite some time ago. A report out this week shows that high street shops are suffering badly as inflation, soaring interest rates and the new business rate hit their profits. And all at a time when the mortgage rate, of course, and the poll tax means that most of us have less to spend. Well, only 2 days ago, the government's own figures showed that the amount being taken across the counter is well down, emphasising the gloomy future for traders. Yesterday, Charles went to one London high street in Mrs Thatcher's own constituency of Finchley. There, shopkeepers believe they've been amongst the hardest hit.
This is Finchley High Road, once the bustling heart of a thriving community. But these days, the shopkeepers hereabouts aren't just feeling the pinch, they're leaving in droves. And what you're seeing here is the death of a high street.
It's lost its character. The high road is dead.
The whole situation is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we can't survive.
So I decide to sell the place, if I can sell.
This has become a familiar sight for Finchley residents. Solicitor Nigel King has been struck by the recent transformation.
Here in Finchley, walking round is really quite depressing. There are far fewer independent and specialist retailers in business now. There seem to be a considerable number of empty shops, and those that do become empty stay empty for longer periods.
So what's going on? Like shopkeepers everywhere, Finchley traders are being battered on all sides. Bill after bill demands more cash for increased interest rates, sky-high rents, and to top it all, the new business rate, with some shopkeepers paying up to 175% more. If you take a walk down Finchley High Road, it's not surprising that the butcher, the baker and the candlestick maker are fast disappearing.
First, there's the butcher. He went at Christmas. The sums just didn't add up. And the baker? Well, the baker's gone. That's where the bread comes from now, a large supermarket. And the candlestick maker? Well, here's the modern-day equivalent. It's Renato Gaspari's lighting and gift emporium. But he, too, is closing down.
Renato and his wife moved here from Italy 35 years ago, and they've never found the going so tough. In the last couple of years, their rent has almost doubled from £5,500 to £9,500. And with all the other bills, they just can't cope.
How strongly do you feel? I mean, when you walk out of here for the last time, will you be angry?
I'm angry, yes, why not? It's no, what I don't not to be angry. After 10 years, I got to change job again. Why? It's not good. If I can do something else, because I'm old now. Not old, yeah, already past my age. So starting again is difficult.
A few doors down, Jabbar Ismail has invested all his savings in a dry cleaning business. His rent has recently nearly trebled to a staggering £21,000.
I don't think we'll have any alternative part of closing down.
You're going to close down, are you?
Obviously, yes, because we can't cope with the situation.
But it's not only the bills on the doormat that are causing problems for shopkeepers like Jabbar. The customers have less money to spend due to high mortgages and the poll tax.
No, I'm not spending nearly as much as I used to. Generally, I mean, apart from food, I try and not spend anything at all, really. That's the state of things at the moment.
Not surprisingly, it's hard to find anyone willing to hang on. But shoe repairer Malcolm Desborough is one of the few to do so.
He's been working in the street for 35 years.
We've watched the change happen all along the high road. We have customers come in and they say, please don't go. We've been coming to you for years. You get the personal service. We talk to the customer. I'm afraid that's going to go.
At the end of the day, it's likely that you and me, the customers, are going to suffer.
You're going to be faced with less choice in the high street and ultimately higher prices because these costs have got to be passed on.
So if the customers are cutting down on what they spend in the high street, the outlook for the small shopkeeper is now bleak. And many of them, like Renato Gaspari, may soon be closing their doors for the last time.
I don't like it, but I got to sell. No point to go on like this.
Well, we invited the government minister responsible for small businesses, Tim Egger, to talk to us tonight about the problems for those shopkeepers. He couldn't be here, he said, but he told us this: the business rate hasn't been revalued for 17 years and has become unfair. Inevitably, some businesses are facing increases, but these are phased over 5 years, and many others will pay a lot less. Nevertheless, it is very sad to see the small individual businesses going, isn't it?
Yeah, my little village. It's not just happening in London. In where I live, there's a little guy who's had a greengrocer shop for 38 years, and there's a handmade sign on it which says, due to the business rates and to the poll tax, we're having to close up after 38 years. And I think it's taking personality away. I think it's absolutely
That's
right.
very sad, and when the shop goes, it often means the death of the village. Well, we'll take a break now for a moment, but do stay tuned, because still to come, will this playground painting fool the fine art critics? And why Danny's crying into his beer at the pub with no cheer. And live here in the studio, the magical Miss Minogue. Don't go away.
Go.
Jenny, once you've actually pulled...
Yes, I'm getting out. I'll go and sit back in.
Yeah, but when you actually pull it back and we see the thing for the first time, can you give us a bit of reaction, a wow or something?
welcome back. Now, art critics have described it as a modern masterpiece, and tonight, for the first time on British television, we can unveil the new work by the Dutch artist Stanley Brown, which has just gone on show at the Victoria Minogue Gallery in Cork Street. Will you do us the honours? There it is. Yes, it's a line. It's drawn with a ruler and a pencil, and it's exactly 1 metre long. And what's more, it'll cost you, well, what do you reckon? Well, it will cost you about £8,000. Not that you'll get the original, by the way. Oh, no, for your £8,000, you buy the concept, which basically means that having seen Mr. Brown's effort, you write him a cheque for £8,000. Then you go home and you draw your own line with a ruler and a pencil exactly 1 metre long. And it has to be an HB pencil, by the way. I reckoned a 7-year-old could do that better, whatever the art critics might say. And that's just what we discovered when we set up a little experiment earlier this week.
You would be amazed at what sells in the upmarket galleries around Mayfair these days. Here at the Victoria Minogue Gallery, I've come to get an art lesson from Gideon Ponte about their latest exhibition by Dutch concept artist Stanley Brown.
This is the work of Stanley Brown, who's been working for like 20 years, doing work to do with his own body, measurements of his body and how he walks and how he goes through life.
Well, it's certainly light years away from Rembrandt.
The piece you're standing next to is a drawing of a metre, but it's on a scale of 1 to infinity, which means that anywhere on that point, any point on the line, could be anywhere in space.
Of course. Now, just down the road at the Salama Caro Gallery, Derek Healy has sold lots of his work already, even though prices start at £7,000.
Explain something about it to me, please.
It's to do with the horizons and communication, and it's these 4 symbolic colours which represent horizons, and they're resting on telephone directories from different parts of the world where friends, in fact, live. But, in fact, the idea is that the telephone directory holds numerous numbers, and lots of people, thousands of people, are connected to this piece, whether they like it or not.
What's this one called? This one's called Our Black Heads White. It's about boundaries between nationalities, boundaries between countries, between colours, between religions. The blackheads you see are in black frames, which in fact are their own prisons.
And how much did you get for that?
That was £30,000.
So what is going on? Has art gone mad? I mean, there are those who say that all this could be done by a 7-year-old. Well, could it? There was only one way to find out. We commissioned a group of 7 to 10-year-olds from North London to do their stuff. Could they paint a masterpiece? Here's the gem from Rotherfield School, while this one from William Tyndall School nearby. Then we got sneaky. At a London art gallery, we set up an exhibition of genuine works of art, but we also slipped in those masterpieces by our primary school children. The final touch to our artistic stunt, we invited along some respected art critics, the people who influence what paintings will or won't sell. Meet Andrew Renton of Blitz magazine. Would he be fooled by our primary school painters?
Very, very bold use of paint, very daring, you know, really sort of attacking the canvas there, nice colours, very abstract, and if you want to put a value on it, I suppose about £400 or £500. Okay, well I think that one's worth about £600 or £700.
These two were done by 6 7-year-olds this morning.
Brilliant.
You like my idea?
Fantastic. I think that's fantastic.
Don't get too close to them, your suit will get wet.
Right.
It has a kind of very childlike feeling to it. There are 2 or 3 places where it's almost like a child's finger painting of faces and images, and I like actually the fact that there's a lot of curves on it. I know a friend who's done one which is about the same size as that canvas, and she was actually commissioned to do it for a corporate lobby above an atrium above a lift, and she got 3,500.
So we could get possibly $3 for that, you think?
Well,
do you?
You know,
Do you think that artist has got a future?
Probably yes.
Dee, let me just tell you something. We played a little trick on you.
That
These two
is
here were done by 10 7-year-olds
I
this
think they're
morning.
wonderful. I think they're absolutely fabulous.
How much do you reckon we could get for that?
I think that would probably be more. I think we'd probably go up to 600 or 700.
600 or 700 quid for that? That'd be good, wouldn't it? And there's a similar sort of size work next to it.
Yeah. Again, that's got an energy, hasn't it?
Do you like that?
You can really feel the artist has sort of been at work, the sort of remnants of the artist's work there. You feel it hasn't quite finished it. That gives it its energy, I think.
Do you?
If I had the money, then I might go up to about 700 or 800 for that.
These two were done this morning. No, this morning by a bunch of 7-year-olds.
Oh, no. That's mean.
Well, we'd like to auction the two youngsters' paintings for Telethon. You make us a couple of offers, you'll get the paintings, and Telethon will get the money. And speaking of Telethon...
Yes, and my young assistant John will now slide it out. Good boy, and send the money in, please. We've only 5 weeks to go now to the biggest fundraising weekend on earth. Are you getting ready for Telethon 90 yet? Well, down at Safeway Supermarket in Sutton, they are with the 6 o'clock live checkout challenge. Your compere for this evening, Mr. Daniel Wilberforce Baker.
Yes, Supermarket in Magazine, Jenny, have this annual competition where they try to find the best checkout person in Britain. They're doing it next week, but they've arranged a special competition right here on 6 o'clock live to find our own supermarket checkout queen or king. We're not giving the sex away just yet. Yes, this is Kate Trollope, who's the editor of that magazine I was talking about. What would you be looking for in a good checkout person?
We're looking for somebody who's fast, who's accurate, but who's also got a really lively, attractive personality.
A job for me if ever telly falls through, I suspect, yeah. But you mentioned speed there, and I thought that'd be number one, but personality too?
Yeah, speed's very important. Customers don't like queues, but we also want somebody who really cares about their customer and is very lively and bright.
You're representing your store, eh?
That's right.
Oh, gotcha. Well, representing their stores are our 4 challenges this evening. Each of them have been sponsored for Telethon. How's about that? For our very own 6 o'clock checkout challenge over here on what is my right. This is Kate Deeves from Bideford. She's been doing this 8 months and she has 2 children. Next to her we have Lorraine Wall from Leicestershire. She works in the co-op. Stop waving at me and putting me up. You've been doing this 3.5 years and you have 2 children also. Coming across here is Linda Brosnan from Tesco in Finchley. London representative, been doing it 18 months. And right at the end here is Van der Steen from Derby Sainsbury's. Been doing this 2.5 years. The actual competition begins very, very shortly. It's going to be great and it's all for Telethon.
Danny, we'll be back. We, in fact, will be returning to Sutton in just a few moments for that nail-biting final of our 6 o'clock live checkout challenge. In the meantime, thanks to all of you who've written or phoned in to tell us what you're up to for Telethon.
Yes, like 4-year-old little Clover Keating from Thornton Heath. She's going to do it. And so is 75-year-old Marion Olive. I'm talking about tap dancing, because we need 5,000 tap dancers, old and young alike, to shuffle down to Croydon's North End Road on May the 6th at 9 a.m. and help us break the existing record for the world's biggest tap dance.
And now a very big thanks indeed to those 12,000 swimmers who took part in the Swimathon. The challenge now is for all of you to send your sponsorship money by May the 11th.
And remember these, yes, registration forms. We sent 15,000 out, but have only had 400 back, you wimps. We need to know what you're up to for Telethon, so please send them back as soon as possible. And if you'd like to do something for Telethon 90, it's still not too late. The address to write to is Please Telethon 90 LWT, PO Box 33 London, SE1 9LT.
So go for it. Well, I hear they now under starters' orders down in Sutton. Let's rejoin Danny at the 6 o'clock live checkout challenge, Danny.
Yes, no more shilly-shallying and explaining. The whole place has gone tense. You could hear a cream horn droop. You may have noticed all our challengers are all women. They've all been practising all afternoon. Different people have won at different times. This is the only one that matters. When I say 3, 2, stand by your barcodes, 1, go! Yes, 3 different winners met this afternoon. That means nothing in the raw edge of competition. Bit of a problem getting, a little bit of problem getting the older lemonade through there. We've all stood in supermarket checkouts many, many times for a long, long time. I usually have to go back for a few more raises by the end of it. And on one occasion, I have to go back for a birthday cake as well. Hang on, up at the end there, Vander is flying along. I don't know if I put the rest of you up. Vander, are you up? Yes! We have a winner! Well, you may have heard me say earlier on that different people won during rehearsals when they was trying out their own techniques. You kept everything back, didn't you?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, you didn't give anything away in our run-throughs. Let us give away something now. You are our checkout challenger. All these people are sponsored for Telethon. The rest of you but seconds behind. I know, and they're all grumbling, saying, oh, I was only a minute out or seconds out. There's some champagne for you. We do have a sash somewhere. I had it on earlier on. I think somebody nicked it off me. Anyway, you are a checkout champion. What's your technique? Practice. Yes. You are Van der Steen from Derbyshire. You work with Sainsbury's. You've been doing this 2.5 years, and you have 2 lovely children. What are their names?
Mark and Gail.
Mark and Gail. You can be proud of your mum. You're actually in the competition next week, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Well, this is some dry run you've had this afternoon for us all. You've won this. Well done, everyone else from the end there. That was Kate. We've got Linda and Lorraine. But the winner was Van der Steen. She wasn't from our area. That was represented there. You'd let us all down. But yes, you are the checkout champion right here on 6 o'clock live. It was for Telethon. Thank you very much indeed.
Danny, thank you very much indeed. He's had a pretty bad time of it recently. He looks, by the way, a lot happier tonight than he did earlier on in the week, I can tell you, because the last few days have been an absolute disaster for people like Danny, thousands of football supporters in London. Charlton, relegated to the 2nd Division. Then there's Danny's team, Millwall, after just 2 years in Division 1. They're also on their way down again to Division 2 after all the hope and all the joy, now defeat and despair. How will Danny and his Millwall mates cope? Here's how.
What went wrong? 35 games played and only 5 victories. Might have had something to do with them 19 defeats. Anyway, it's over, and our dreams are swept away like yesterday's chip packets. Yeah, that sign's going to have to go to a start. I think I'll leave before it all gets just too painful. And so, it is now mathematically impossible for Millwall to stay in the 1st Division. Well, we all knew it was coming sooner or later, but it don't make it any easier when it actually happens. But we had a great time in the 1st Division. I remember the night we went up as champions. There were people literally dancing in the streets, and the pubs all decked out in blue and white, begging us to come in and have a party. But now we're going the other way. It seems there's only one tavern left in town. And that's the Sultan here in Bermondsey, where you'll find the truly sensitive Millwall supporter. And that's because, whereas most pubs have their happy hour, the Sultan, well, the Sultan understands. The Sultan's been doing a roaring trade ever since they introduced a grumpy hour.
Grumpy hour started! Bring out your dead! No smiling!
They say since Millwall's been getting beat, their customers have been total miseries. Pint of tears.
Pint of what?
Pint of beer, pint of beer.
Pint of beer?
Yeah. Thank you very much indeed, that's lovely. Good luck to you. Cheers.
Yeah, say that after you taste it. Do you mind not making such a mess over my bar, please?
Well, not so much as a wink from the landlady, just the rule book. And if anyone should dare smile during grumpy hour, there's a fine to be paid. I'm obviously in the right place, aren't I? Yeah. Hold on, hang on. Jim Murray. Go and get me change. I'm going to talk to the jinx of Millwall. Thank you very much. So Jim's here. Now, he's club historian and lifelong fan, but some say he's the real reason things have gone horribly wrong this year. Listen, in the paper, it's got you down as the jinx of Millwall, the reason we're going down. Are you the Bock?
Just call me Super Jinx.
Why?
Well, the last 19 games I've seen Millwall, they've lost every one.
It's not a solid 19 games. You've selected these games, haven't you?
No, I haven't selected. They were the games I could get to.
It's been written up in the press that you are the reason for the demise.
Yeah.
Even our crack centre-forward Ted Killer Sheringham has advised you should stay away. Has that crossed your mind?
Well, he did tell me to stay away, yeah, he did. In fact, I was so depressed, I was actually going to ask him to shoot me. He said, I know he would have missed.
Well, no coming back now, Jim.
Not a chance.
Rock solid bottom. What a good time we had, though.
Well, I should say
some of them games. The away trips. Can it only be a season ago? Seems like a fading fantasy now. In this, our darkest hour, no one was much in the mood for jokes, which is why top London comic Jimmy Jones, specially brought in to cheer us up, was getting nowhere.
And I said to the bloke next to me, I said, Manager came over.
The comedian's crisis, a depressed football crowd. But then, in the nick of time, I received a hot piece of news about our near-dear neighbours, Charlton FC. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to interrupt your terrific evening here at the Sultan, but we've got something which will really, really make you feel terrible. Apparently, the results come through from Selhurst Park. Charlton lost to Wimbledon tonight, and they're relegated too.
Well, a problem aired is a problem shared, they say. We're going to take another break now, after which Jeni splashes out on the very latest tropical trendies. Our contest, Opportunity Knocks, which girl did you vote? Best of the Barnett bunch? And she's arrived. She's downstairs now, so it's come on up, Kylie, right after the break. Anybody's heard a few bars. The tape is... Okay. Hello, welcome back. Let me tell you, she's not well. All day today, she's been ignoring me. She's kind of transfixed. It's the new craze she's been investigating. She only has eyes for one thing, her new pet, Dennis.
Yes, it's true. I'm in love. You see, I've joined the growing band who are simply hooked. We call ourselves aficionados. Aficionados, get it? Joking apart, though, shoals of us are now splashing out on fish more than ever before, and the number's growing. Did you know in the southeast alone, nearly 2 million families have got at least one little tiddler apiece? It's easy to see why. They don't need to be taken for walkies, and they're an attractive addition to any home, and those of us who love our wet friends will do simply anything to keep them happy. Won't we, Dennis? Dennis? Dennis?
It's a goldfish which I won at the fairground. It wriggled around for a few days and then it disappeared to the great big fish pond in the sky. But now I've discovered Britain is a nation of fish keepers. It seems the latest designer accessory is a fish. Throwing off their unglamorous dentist waiting room image, they're swimming around in the smartest of places. The big fish, like managing director Martin Ball, are putting their money into koi carp keeping. It's the biggest growing area and the most expensive. He's got £30,000 worth of koi in his pond. He says that at up to £1,500 a fish, his hobby is like tearing up £50 notes under the shower. Even so, he's hooked.
They're beautiful. They're graceful. They're very relaxing. It is so natural for them in there that I just like them. They're my friends.
Martin likes to feed his friends by hand. He thinks the koi are blowing him kisses.
Platforms at the back of the throat.
I mean, you can't take them for a walk. They don't answer back. They're not soft and furry. You can't put them at the end of the bed.
Yes, but you can still have a relationship when they know you, when you can feed them by hand. I mean, just having to look after them. If you care for anything, you grow to love it.
And to prove it, Martin introduced me to Big Bertha,
She's a nice,
fish
calm
that
fish.
likes the personal touch.
Stroked. In fact, she quite enjoys it if you can run your hand under her tummy. Really? She quite likes having her tummy tickled. She's an old sweetie.
For the growing school of fish owners, nothing is too good for their fish. Legal Secretary Diane Rees insists on the best for her £1,000 tank. She spurns water from the tap, preferring to have Buxton water delivered every fortnight.
I wouldn't drink it, so why should the fish swim in it? I never drink London water.
You are a sensitive human being with a wonderful system inside, a digestive system that possibly can't deal with London tap water, but they're fish. Fish.
The fish die, but fish die, don't they? They live, they breathe air, the same as we do. They swallow the water that they swim in, surely.
Ever intrepid, I decided to take the plunge.
If it's good enough for Diane's Hoover fish, it's good enough for me.
But you don't have to be rolling in it to splash out on a few fish. Tough guardian angel Sebastian Grant may live on a council estate in Southwark, but he has some of the finest specimens in the country. His fish ain't koi carp. They're mean and macho.
The ones that you see in dentist waiting rooms, you sit and unwind by watching them. These ones, I feed them, which is exciting because they may try and bite me. Just keep not too much of it in the water.
Not too much of it in the water?
Yeah, so we can't get
Can this have my finger off?
Oh, no. They just hurt like hell.
Come on, come on.
Put a bit more in the water.
Good golly.
Quick, aren't they?
Sebastian thinks piranhas are for wimps. Real men keep catfish, the Rottweilers of the fish world.
If I can stick my hand in a piranha tank without worrying about it, but I always got to know what sort of mood he's in before I do it. He will kill.
Sebastian's other fierce friend is his stingray, which he, the fool, feeds by hand.
Are you a bit of a lunatic?
Probably more than a bit.
I should say so. His collection of butch fish has so far cost him more than £2,000. But some fish, no matter how humble, can make you money. Photographer Eric Russell fell in love with his goldfish, George, after using him as a magazine model.
I was asked to photograph a pair of goggles for Cosmopolitan magazine, and I suggested that it might be interesting to have a fish inside the goggles.
As you do?
As one does.
Your opinion of George as a model?
Oh, he's excellent. He understands which way to face for the camera. He's always trying out new positions. And he's very popular with art directors.
Gorgeous George is turning into a proverbial goldmine. Soon he'll have more modelling assignments than Jerry Hall.
If you're too lazy to fill a 60-gallon tank with designer water, or too frightened of fish rustlers to keep koi, or the thought of feeding a stingray with your hand gives you the creepers, I've just the fish for you. I call him Bob. Hello, Bob. And as if by magic, I have Robert or Bob. Here, look, here, there you go. Just turn him off, turn him on. Say night-night, Bob. Bob. Night-night.
And doesn't need to be fed. A cheaper fish. Well, she arrived back in Britain just a week ago, and all week she's been playing to sell-out concerts. It seems she's been going down a treat, but she did manage to steal away just a little time away from her tour to come and talk to us here tonight. Miss Kylie Minogue is transpiring in front of us there. You are live. May I touch you?
Yes,
People
it's all real.
I have to explain away the trick. And those few bars that we heard there, the first time you've come to us and the first time we've heard, anybody's heard the bars of your new single in this country. Is it good news?
The single?
Another hit on the way?
Oh, well, I hope so. It's not from any album, so it's brand new.
It's
I
brand
think
new.
everyone. I've had a good reaction so far.
And a videotape to go with it, what, eventually? Is that still in the making?
Well, yeah, that's being sent over tomorrow, actually, and it's quite different.
Is it? Talk about the moment. The tour, you started in the Midlands area, have you?
Mm-hmm.
Did that go well last week?
It went really well. First night, we were getting sound together and, you know, all fitting in, but it seems to get better every night.
And you're in London now, as of when?
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Great. Now tell me about, there's a big change of image going on. I mean, I hear about sort of raunchy verbals and songs and hot pants and so on. Why are you changing your image on this
Well, it's not, I think the press have picked up on one angle and, you know, made it my X-rated show, which of course it isn't.
But it is a change, surely, a very big change.
Yeah, it is. Not so much for me because I'm being myself in the show, but I think people are so used to seeing me as kind of nice Kylie, especially from the days of Neighbours, which are far behind in Australia, but not so far behind
That's true.
here.
So Charlene is dead now, as far as you're concerned.
Well, she's alive and kicking on Neighbours, but I won't be going back.
You won't be going back. You should be pleased about her. She's done you well. She served you very well, hasn't she?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's taken a long time to get people to realise that I'm actually someone different, though. But certainly, it's been great.
Yes. Now, why do you want to change your image in this way? I mean, you were doing brilliantly with the rest. I mean, I think 10 or 11 hit records, all number ones or twos. I think 4 was the lowest.
Yeah.
Why do you have to change from that?
Well, I think people like change anyway. I mean, I know exactly what you're saying because I have a lot of people going, you can't change, everything you've done's gone right. But, I mean, I need to change anyway. If I'm getting bored with myself, then other people must be.
And you're in love. I read that you're desperately in love with the young man Michael Hutchins, an Aussie rock singer. Does that make you feeling good?
That's true.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's he got, this guy, that appeals to you so much?
What's he got? Oh. He's very understanding. It's nice to be with someone that's in the same industry too. So, like times like now, when we're so far away for such a long time.
Is this the real thing?
Well, possibly.
Are you going to marry him?
Oh, come on, I don't know.
Well, has he asked you to marry him?
No, he hasn't asked me, so...
Are you hoping he might?
It would be nice to be proposed to, but I don't know, we'll have to see.
Come on, you must have been proposed to in your life so far,
No,
haven't
I
you?
haven't.
Not by any single one?
No.
Well, perhaps some of your fans might do it next week. I gather that there's tickets left, so you can, in fact, get tickets, right, for next week?
There's some left for Monday night, yeah.
Delight meeting you after all this time, and we hope very much it goes well.
Thank
Just a little bit of music from the single. What's it called? Better the Devil You Know. OK, well, there we are. A touch of Kylie Minogue and her new song. Well, next Tuesday, another 5 pop stars from across the water will be arriving in Britain, and as Kylie has experienced, the welcome is expected to be enormous. They've already had 2 number ones, and they're said to be the hottest group from the States, well, since the Osmonds anyway. Who are they? Well, it's New Kids on the Block, and during their stay in Britain, Danny Baker will be talking to the New Kids exclusively for 6 o'clock live.
Yes, and the New Kids are so delighted to have signed up. Danny, they've put up oodles of prizes for a special 6 o'clock live competition, so get your pen and paper ready. There are 20 of the latest New Kids videos up for grabs, and they're just for the runners-up. The 5 lucky winners will get a special giant version of the video for their sins, signed by the New Kids themselves. It's a real collector's item. This one's empty. All you have to do is simply answer this question. Which town do the New Kids on the Block come from? I'll repeat that. Which town do the New Kids come from? Put your answer on a postcard with your name and address and send it to New Kids Contest, 6 o'clock live, LWT, PO Box 50, London SE1 9LQ, and hip bop, bip bop, whatever you young bucks say. Frank.
Thank you very much indeed. Let's hear what the weekend weather has in store.
Well, it's going to throw up much of the same pattern of clouds, sunshine and showers. Tonight, it'll be cloudy with outbreaks of rain, which could be heavy. Temperatures will be well above freezing in all areas, typically around 7 Celsius, 45 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow morning, there'll still be a fair amount of low cloud around and possibly some mist to the east, but it'll brighten with sunny breaks to the south of the city. The cloud will break further in the afternoon and there'll be sunshine, but the chance of thunder to the southwest. Temperatures will pick up to around 13 Celsius, 55 Fahrenheit. Sunday will bring more cloud and sunny intervals. A fresh northeasterly wind will make it feel cool despite maximum temperatures of 14 Celsius, 57 Fahrenheit. That's all for now. I'll be here again at 10:30 with our next news bulletin. Back to Frank.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, now the time has come. 2,000 of you entered our competition to replace Jeni when she goes on her hols for one day next week. We have one winner.
Yes, we whittled it down to 4 and then asked you to decide by phoning in your votes. And the winner is... Yes, Sue Diamond, who lives near Maidenhead in Berkshire. There she is. Well done, Sue. Fantastic.
And here she is sitting alongside me. You looking forward to the day?
Oh, very much. I mean, this is my big opportunity to break into television, hopefully.
Oh, I see. And did you enjoy the competition and doing that?
Oh, very much. But the waiting for the result was agonising.
How many days did you have to wait?
All over the weekend until the Tuesday.
Are you a cool chick, as they say?
Oh, I can be, Frank.
You can.
Yes.
You keep a level head. If you can keep your head level in this business, you're okay.
Oh, I think I can do that. I don't think there's any problem.
But you're not volatile and given to kind of wild excesses.
Oh, in my private life.
OK. Well, you've enjoyed your day today. We look forward to seeing you next week.
I'm really looking forward
to
it.
That's good. Well, that's it for another week. Have a great weekend. I'll see you again next Friday with Sue. Have a lovely holiday.
Yes, I can keep my head next Friday be through. Yes, good luck. I'll send you a postcard. We'll have a lovely time. And listen, night, night, Bethany. Goodbye, everybody. Yes, goodbye. Thank you. Have a nice holiday. Bye-bye. Good luck.
And we'll leave you tonight with a taste of what you could be enjoying if you win our special New Kids contest. Good night to you.